This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow man-child Johnny Karlic.
As I can see it, we can do whatever we want.
Well, we can't do exactly whatever we want. Like, it's YouTube. Like, we couldn't do what we had a comment on Too Old to Game, where they wanted us to have sex on the table. We can't do that. That's a different site completely, that Most Valuable Podcast sadly is not on. So, I'm sorry, Venom. We can't do exactly what we want. Don't give me those. Don't give me those eyes. Don't give me them. Don't raise your eyebrows at me. But welcome into. We haven't done one of these in a while.
No, we haven't.
Actually, I'm gonna look it up because we haven't done one of these in a while. I think the last one that we did for the channel was solo, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was you and Dave too.
Exactly. That's my point. So, yeah. So. Solo was the last one we did for the channel. The last one you and I did was Deadpool 2.
Wow.
Was the last one. That was about 4 months ago.
That's been a while.
So we have not done a review, but we're doing more of the nerdy reviews, the superhero ones. So, I mean, man, we were seeing some good ones. Rampage, Ready Player One, Pacific Rim, Dave's Pacific Rim. But we are reviewing today Venom. Gonna give you our thoughts on Venom. What do we like? What do we didn't like? Everything with it. Before we get into everything, make sure to support us on patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. You can also do so by buying yourself an MVP t-shirt. You can also get it at mostvaluablepodcast.com, where you can get your MVP each and every day. And last but not least, if you're on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, make sure to give us a 5-star rating if you please, and let us know why you like listening to the podcast each and every week. But Johnny, Venom came out. We went and saw it. We're now going to give you our take of it. If you want to see the non-spoiler part, we kind of start non-spoilery, and then we jump into the spoiler section to where you guys can pause and come back after you've seen the movie. But non-spoilery, what are your first reactions, your first thought to Venom?
Actually, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I wouldn't go great, but I thought it was pretty good.
It wasn't great. It wasn't bad.
No.
It's right there in the middle.
It is.
Like, everything that you see in other reviews, like the critic reviews, they're kind of right, where it's like, to me, the script to
little choppy.
This was the worst part of it.
Yeah.
But
it was a little choppy.
Tom Hardy saved this thing.
Oh, for sure.
Like, Tom Hardy was amazing in this movie.
Let's be honest. It was your kind of typical introduction movie for a hero.
Anti-hero.
Whatever. You know what I meant, though.
But it took a lot
you
of, like,
what I stood.
In those first movies, you got to kind of explain a lot. You got to set the groundwork.
Exactly. So you have to be fair and, like, on that aspect of it, because you have to set up things that you can't, like, leave out. Which it did good. It did a good job with that, I think.
And, like, the best thing I liked was Tom Hardy. I felt like his Eddie Brock was it the Eddie Brock from, like, the animated series? No. Like, that's my Eddie Brock. But the Eddie Brock that he portrayed,
I liked it.
He did a really good job with that Eddie Brock, and also you got to see a lot of the emotion of Eddie Brock in my mind. The highs, the lows, the kind of in-betweens, and he did a nice job of making you feel for Eddie Brock.
Yes. I also like how their portrayal of Venom. I like the voicing they picked for it.
Well, it's Tom Hardy.
It is. Exactly. But, I mean, obviously it's redubbed a bit when they did the Venom voice.
And he didn't do a voice quite like this. You might wonder.
Though I will be fair and say,
you might wonder why you shoot a man before
you want me to do it instead? You want me to do it?
I don't think I do that bad of a Bane voice.
It's
a little bit more higher pitched than yours. But I think I do the Bane voice just fine.
You think the darkness is your ally?
Well, yes, you do it a lot better than I do.
I was born in it.
Yes.
Molded by it.
I'm just doing my normal voice in my hands. You actually do a voice.
There's a difference
There
to that.
is.
And people listening on audio is like, what the
Stop.
what the hell are these idiots doing? Why are they
Please.
talking like
Stop
Bane?
what you're doing.
One of these times we're gonna do an entire podcast like Bane. We'll
Sounds
just do
great
it.
to me. I'll actually buy a Bane mask and do the whole thing.
You should.
I'm not shaving my head, though.
You should. By the way, at
I am not shaving my head
at
though.
New York Comic Con, they no, I'll just put a luchador mask on you.
What? No, I said I'm wearing the Bane mask.
I know.
You can wear the luchador.
The luchador mask. I'll just put tubes in you and stuff. Pump you with that venom.
That sounds great.
Basically,
I do want a
getting
Venom.
back to
I do want a symbiote. Symbiote.
getting back to Venom. Anything you think we need to mention before we jump into spoiler mode?
No, I like the portrayal of Venom. I like the portrayal of the other symbiote.
Oh,
God damn it! I actually said it that way.
symbiote.
I did.
Yeah, fucking. Yeah, you
other-
fucking
I like the
woozle over
portrayal-
there. You jagaloon.
I like the portrayal of the other symbiotes.
No, you gotta say it's you.
Symbiote.
You committed to symbiote. You got.
I said it jokingly first,
am
and
so-
then I said it the second time.
I am so
Hey,
glad they
that's
changed
spoiler
that.
mode.
Oh, I am so glad they changed that. But
I guess that's a good thing to tell them.
the other thing I liked
They fixed
was
it, guys.
the villain for this.
Yes.
He was like it was nice from the beginning. Eddie Brock was like, dude, he's creepy. He's a creepy guy, but I mean, he actually played the villain part nicely.
He did.
To where he made you hate him.
Yeah.
And he was kind of a dick throughout.
He was
so
a
it
dick
kinda
throughout,
made it,
but he did that. He had that villain aspect of, hey, I think what I'm doing is right.
yeah, and we'll get into that. In
I
the
won't
spoiler
say
mode.
any more about
Yeah,
it. I'm just
that-
saying
I didn't
that
wanna-
quality in a villain is always a good thing to have.
I completely agree, but I didn't want to mention that yet
Oh,
because of spoiler.
Sorry,
Hey,
Mr.
I'm not mad that you mentioned it. I was just saying that's why I didn't mention it already. But
Yeah.
we're about to enter spoiler mode. If you have not seen Venom, hit the pause button. We'll be here waiting. Go see Venom and then come back. If you don't care, just go ahead. Let us play right along through. We're in spoiler mode, and the first thing I kind of want to talk about with this is kind of the beginning, the setting up of everything.
Yeah.
Because to me, how this worked was you had two movies. You had a bad movie at the beginning. You had like a bad half-hour movie at the beginning. Ever since Eddie Brock got the symbiote, and it was
Symbiote?
like... No, I said it after I said symbiote. I was like, did I say it wrong? Did I say it right? Did I say it wrong? They've got me second-guessing myself.
Yeah.
But after he's got it, and it's like he's in his apartment, and you hear... And he goes, don't answer the door.
You hear the voice.
Yeah. From that point on...
Don't answer it.
Like, from that point on, it's like, it's a good movie in my mind. Like, everything before that point kind of made me want to shoot my brains out. I'll be completely honest.
I think there were some good scenes, bad scenes too.
The biggest thing at the beginning I did not like was the choppiness of it.
Yeah.
Where it was like, here, now here, now here, now here, now 6 months, now this one. It was just very chopped up kind of a thing. To where that part I wasn't super... It took me a while to get my bearings. Like, you know when you start a new movie and you're sitting there and you're like, all right, this is all new, okay. And then like after the first 10 minutes, you're like, okay, I've gotten my bearings in this movie and I'm good. I didn't really get my bearings for a good part of it until really, like, yes, I had my bearings a little bit, but like when it officially locked in and was like, was when he got the symbiote.
See, I'm able to follow that, and that wasn't that hard for me to follow because you're talking to a guy who has watched a few foreign films for some odd reason, and this side,
like Mexicano Spider-Man.
That's Italian Spider-Man.
It's
Thank
Italian
you.
Spider-Man.
And I haven't seen the movie; it's just the trailers on TV. Pretty sure it's a college film thing.
But go on.
Like there was one. There's a few of them I've seen. There's a few in other languages too. I don't remember the names of them because guess what? I don't know how to pronounce them very well offhand in the first place. So I'm not even gonna try and remember them. But they were foreign. They were in other languages. And if I had to pay attention and follow those, this was not that hard for me to follow. So yeah, I did notice how choppy the beginning was, and to some degree I understand it. Some degree it's like, could you done a little bit better of a job of portraying that aspect? Because I get it where you have to do a time jump, but it's like, did you have to do? Because I even missed what you pointed out to me. There was a 3-month time jump. I missed that one. I only realized I only saw the 6-month.
Yeah, because there was the spaceship one, the 3-month time jump.
Quinjet.
Well,
I'm joking, by the way. But I want to.
And the 3-month time jump is when they jumped from symbiotes landing to Eddie Brock. Where I'm like, okay, you can kind of like, you need that kind of a time jump.
But did you?
No, not really. You could have just said, here it is.
3 months.
Without one.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You could have had that and then something happening with Eddie Brock and then have the 6-month time jump. And that's when because 9 months, and I know this is jumping ahead in the movie, 9 months is a long time to try and have to travel the globe. I don't care if you're a symbiote.
And walking.
There was one point you got on a plane.
Well, that was after the 6 months.
Yeah, that was after the 6 months.
That was after the 9 months.
So what the hell happened in 9 months that you couldn't get there?
The symbiote had to fight grizzly bears and stuff.
Apparently you had to walk from
in Mother Russia.
You had to walk from Malaysia all the way to the UK, I guess. You can't walk to the UK. Wait, United Kingdom, yeah,
I don't
maybe.
even know which direction the symbiote was going.
Exactly. Well, there's not much direction to go one way.
To be
be fair.
But to be honest, I don't harp too much on that because the symbiote does not know our world.
That's true.
It does not know where.
But it does read the mind. It does connect to the mind of the person.
Yes, but think about the people he was
connecting to.
The first one, he was just like, Life Foundation, let's walk. Then he went into the mind of an older woman
Well, first was an ambulance driver.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he just was, let's walk, and healing her wounds. Then the old lady, I doubt she knew airport over here. He just kind of walked, and it's like, found the airport. And that's where he went in with her. And then the little girl was basically, I got to find a way on this plane.
Still, that's 9 months, man.
I get it. It's not ideal.
No,
but I'm not harping
I'm not harping on it. I'm just saying, all I said was it's 9 months is an extensive amount of time. They could have cut out that 3-month thing and made it one jump in time.
The thing I did like, though, at the beginning, getting back to Eddie Brock, I like what they did with him story-wise, like his job, because here's another thing I noticed.
Extensive reporter.
Well, yeah, he's an extensive reporter
and
like investigative reporter.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to find the word for.
And I also liked how, I didn't like it, but I did, when the guy's like, when you got fired from the, Anne brought it up, when you got fired from the Daily Globe, which my first thought was, it bugged me at first because I was like, Daily Planet? I was like, Daily Planet's DC. Why would they say Daily Globe? Daily Planet's DC. Why would they say Daily Globe? Then I'm like, why didn't they just say Daily Bugle? What, is this not connected to Spider-Man? This is all going on in my head, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
Of like freaking out that they said Daily Globe. Should not have an existential crisis about this, but I did in my seat. And then kind of during the movie, I was like, okay, it's kind of good they didn't say Daily
Planet.
Yeah, Daily Planet because it's DC. But it's kind of good they didn't say Daily Bugle because if they would have said he got fired from the Daily Bugle, that cuts anything with him and Peter eventually working at the Daily Bugle together.
Yeah.
Now that they didn't say it, maybe later on when Peter's older, Peter can work at the Daily Bugle and Eddie Brock can get hired at the same time.
True. That would be cool to finally see. But yeah, no, it made sense for them to make up because she did at least mention that it was in New York, which means he has ties to New York.
Yeah.
Which is good because then he's like, yeah, I moved out here for you. It's like, oh, that's cute. But anyways, it's like, but you mentioned New York, which is awesome, which means he was in New York, which means he may already have some inkling who Spider-Man is.
Gotta get me pictures of Spider-Man.
Real men want pictures of Spider-Man.
Or maybe he was in New York before Spider-Man was Spider-Man.
Maybe.
Because you got to think, Tom Holland's not that old.
He's not been doing Spider-Man for very long.
Exactly. And the thing that I like most about the Eddie Brock character is everything is like his fault. Where it is like his fault and he's a loser. And like the symbiote even says, I'm kind of a loser on my planet too. I'm not the strongest of the symbiotes. And even at the beginning, you get this where he's like,
I like when the symbiote calls him a loser.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a loser.
I like
You need me.
But it's like he's going to interview. I'm trying to think. I wanted to say Nathan Drake, and that's not true. The bad guy of the film.
Oh, Carlton Drake.
Carlton Drake.
Carlton.
Yeah, doing the Carlton. But basically interviewing him, and it's a puff piece. Let's be honest. Like,
Yeah,
the
it's
network
supposed to be
is
a
like,
puff
hey,
piece.
do me a solid. Hey, this guy needs us to do. It's political, like
Yeah.
politics. Where hey, this guy's giving us money to do this piece. Do this puff piece for us.
Yeah.
And Eddie Brock's kind of like, no, man, I'm going to ask the hard questions.
I don't do puff pieces.
The thing that he gets in hot water with, and I like that they put it in there because it was kind of like an ethical decision for the character
Yeah.
of him using his girlfriend's trial stuff in the interview.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how did you find out about that? The thing I didn't like about it was how did they so quickly link him to her?
Well, because Eddie
Like,
Brock is famous. Who
yes,
would
yeah.
you?
But
the
just,
basic.
but just because he found that out, wouldn't they technically need proof that she told him?
Oh, I
because
mean-
he could probably find. He never said that he found out from her.
True, but they can
So-
put two and two together, I think is what they're saying.
Yeah, I get it's a movie, Johnny, but part of me is like, she was wrongfully fired. She should sue their asses and get money from it.
She works for a law firm, Ricky.
She was wrongfully fired. Wrongfully
Confidential case files.
You need proof, Johnny. They're lawyers. They should know they need proof. They didn't have any.
You can check what time sometimes you can check what time the files were open, or check what.
But she had no knowledge of it. So it's not like she gave him the files. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't need to be a huge argument. You're playing devil's advocate, which I appreciate, but just let it move on that the movie wrongfully fired her.
I disagree.
I get they fired her for the plot of it, but
no,
it just
I know
kinda
I disagree
bugged me.
because that's confidential files. There's stuff like when I was at the lab.
But she
Let me
never-
finish. Let me finish. There's stuff like when I was working at Oak Ridge National Laboratory, I was not allowed to release, or else I could have gotten in trouble.
But she didn't release it to him.
She didn't, but if someone got a hold of that computer, that's your responsibility.
But she did everything in her power to keep it locked.
Except he knew the password.
Yeah. That was him getting into it. So if somebody gets into my computer by cracking the password, it is my fault.
He didn't crack the password. He knew the password.
No. I'm playing devil's advocate now to that.
Yeah.
Where it's basically, if someone just knows the password and they take it, I'm at fault? No.
You're still
I didn't give it to them.
You're still at fault.
I think she could have had a case, wrongfully fired, but I get it's for the plot. Let's move on.
Sure, or
then
she got rightfully fired.
No, wrongfully fired. Then they interview
agree to disagree.
Carlton Drake. Well, yeah, I was trying to say that, but
I know.
you kept going on with your fucking point.
Because you didn't let me finish. That's all I wanted to say.
Now I'm a little irritated, but let's move on. Carlton Drake. Then the whole interview happens, and then it's kind of like everything snowballs. She gets fired, dumps him, gives him the ring. 6 months go by, and now he's all on his own. The thing I liked most about the villain, now this is what we can get into, is not only what you said before of like, he believes he's doing what is right. Like, he is trying to better humanity, fix cancer, fix diseases, use the symbiotes to better us, to this world is going to be over inhabited in so many years. We got to find another world for us to inhabit it, like Mars or something. But although he's trying to do good things, he's also a monster because he's killing people. Hey, let's get these homeless people who don't know what they're doing, make them sign these forms that they don't really understand, and basically kill people.
Yeah.
That's basically what he's doing.
No, exactly. I mean, and that's what I like. It's just like a Thanos where he thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
No matter what gets in his way, he's going to do the right thing for his call, whatever his purpose is.
I also like the comic, and I knew we were getting this because they did it in the trailer.
Yeah.
But I also loved the comic book thing of like the symbiote comes out and talks to him.
Yeah.
Like makes its own kind of face. And because
not just voices in his head.
Because Riot did the same thing.
Yeah. He came out and talked to Drake.
He came out and talked to him. Like, I like that. The action to me, I like the action. Everything that we saw in the trailer was basically what we got, except for the final boss scene,
which was cool and which is nice because it makes sense that like Tom Hardy did Eddie Brock and Venom's voice, as well as Riz Ahmed. It did Carlton Drake and Riot's voice.
Yeah. Well, I like that because like if the symbiote is going to latch on to
someone specifically,
it should be your voice.
Well, if it's connected to your physical conscious, it should have your voice because that's the voice it's kind of using. Otherwise, it doesn't have one. The
one question I'm going to ask from you, because I'm going to jump around here a little bit, at the very end, do you like what they did? Where basically it's a goodbye, Eddie. Where I was thinking, oh shit, he lost the symbiote. And then all of a sudden, it's like he's sitting with Anne on the steps and stuff. And you hear the Venom voice. And I was like, what? I thought the Venom voice, like, I thought Venom went away because of the fire from the rockets.
Yeah.
As you were falling away. Burning. Were you okay with them doing that? Like, hey, you lost. Hey, but they got reunited. We're not going to tell you how that happened.
Well, the thing we saw is he says, goodbye, Eddie. Eddie, like, kind of a no type thing as he plummets into the water. Maybe not all of Venom burned up. Maybe some of it was still inside of him and just had time to grow back.
I'm saying the point of, do you like what they did there? Because
I kind of do.
Because I was kind of like, why do that? Like, if you're going to do the whole goodbye Eddie thing, you made me feel like, oh no, they got separated. Like, make me think they get separated and then get reunited in the second one. Or don't do that at all. Why do you have to have that kind of a
just to keep you in the edge of your seat?
For me, I think it's kind of that part. It's kind of like, come on, either you're gonna separate them and then they get reunited in the second one, or you're not gonna do it. Like, it was one of those things where it was like, oh, then why did you do the goodbye Eddie thing if you were just gonna have him come back?
Well, my thought was maybe he thought he actually was gonna completely disintegrate, which is why he said goodbye Eddie. And then he plummets into the water, which also gives him the opportunity to, hey, now she doesn't need to know I'm Venom. So, I mean, because there's other symbiotes out there too, still. Let's see, because there were 5 or 6 brought back in total.
There were 3 and they lost. There were 4 and then they lost 2 or 3.
I thought they had more than 4. 2? Yeah,
because you had Riot,
Venom.
They had 4 and had lost 2.
Okay.
Because we had Riot, Venom, the yellow one, I think that's the one that starts with a P, and then the blue one that killed that one doctor.
And then died because they didn't keep an eye on
those were the 4, and then they lost 2
so
of them.
They
one
may
of
still
those
have
being
the yellow one might still be there somewhere. The yellow one.
Yeah, in a tube.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, because he said, I'm sorry I killed your friend, so I'm wondering if the yellow one survived or not. Oh, well. Anyways.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
But they did say they lost 2 of them, which is important. Because after credit scene, we get to see Cassidy, who is played by Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
And that's setting up Carnage. The only thing is, everyone thought we were going to actually see like the symbiote like go on to it's Cletus's hand.
Cassidy, yeah.
But we didn't get to see that. Did you like the after credit scene? What they did with that?
It's interesting. I don't know how I feel about 100%. I think it's kind of cool. Just think Woody Harrelson looked kind of weird
with the wig.
The wig looked kind of
like
weird,
Carrot Top-ish.
Yeah, I think they could have done.
I get why they were doing it because I mean, Cassidy has red hair.
I think they could have done a little bit better on the wig, but
I don't know. But like, part of me though was like, it fits into that serial killer kind of a vibe.
No, it was cool.
He did play the serial killer
very well
in that like minute clip. Where it's kind of like, you could tell, all right, this guy is crazy. And I cannot wait for him to get the Carnage symbiote so that we can have Venom versus Carnage. But through the entire movie, I could only think about one thing. I want to see Tom Hardy and Tom Holland in a movie together.
I
want to see Eddie Brock and Spider-Man, Peter Parker, in a movie together. Will we ever get it, do you think?
I would hope so, but I mean, that's kind of up to Marvel to some degree because they have the contract with them right now.
But, and here's the thing, Avengers, or Far From Home is supposed to be the last Spider-Man movie of the contract. does Sony say, all right, we're going to take him back now? Thank you for making Spider-Man and making him popular. We're going to take Tom Holland back.
Could do that.
And use him in our movies.
Then like Marvel really has no say in it because they could like have the same Spider-Man and they can't. That would be all a question of can Marvel like kind of put the pressure on Sony and say, no, you can't use Tom Holland. That's connecting the universes. We said no, and you can't do that. Because can
It
they
would have to be?
Can it be legal?
Depends on what's in the contract.
Yeah, well, can it be like? Can it lead to legal problems for Sony? And that's the only question. Otherwise, I would love to see it. I really would. I want to see Venom and Spider-Man in a movie together.
I would lean more towards no, that Marvel would not be able to say no, you can't use
Possibly
Tom
not.
Holland because it's Sony that was giving them the rights
To
anyways.
use, yeah.
So it's really their character that they are handing over. But another thing that you can look into it is, when will this Venom sequel even be a thing?
True.
Because the next movie that they have lined up is the Morbius movie with Jared Leto. So, I mean, you've got that movie that people are going to look at. When's this second Venom one going to do? Is Sony just going to say, hey, you know what? We like what you were doing with this. We're going to sign on for about 3 more movies or 2 more movies. Let him be in the MCU while we kind of build our kind of Sony-verse that they're doing. Because they've got the other after credit scene is they gave us an in-depth look into the Spider-Verse, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, the whole thing where we know now with Into the Spider-Verse that Peter Parker is dead in Miles' universe. That it's not like, oh, this universe is just Miles. That
the mask was
Peter
handed
actually is dead in that universe. And then James Johnson, obviously with the Collider, comes into it. But we get to see the action from it, which here's the thing with Into the Spider-Verse. Just like you said with Hellboy on the actual Rick and Johnny podcast, I think that's one we got to see in 3D.
Yeah.
Because I think
it's
it'd be
Disney,
cool.
though.
I think it'd be cool to, like, the Meanwhile in New York, have that kind of pop out a little bit at you.
No, that would be cool. I just I know it's going to be dizzying, but I'm game for that.
What did you think when it was like, ooh, I wonder what we're going to get with this last credit scene? And then we got into the Spider-Verse.
I thought, well, it kind of spoiled it, but only like for a few seconds. Because what happened was they put in the credits that they show all the movie credits that they like the main names, and then they show the music. It's like Into the Spider-Verse.
That wasn't in. What?
It's like, wait, what? That's is it going to be the after credit? Well, that's what? And then they show then like, okay, well that makes sense for the music, but okay.
I also I'm excited for that one ever since the trailer.
Oh, I know you are.
Especially with can this get any weirder? It can get weirder. Little John Mulaney as Spider-Ham has my favorite line of that entire trailer, by the way. Do animals talk in this universe? Because I really don't want to freak them out.
Guy faints.
Yeah. Well, that's Miles's what Ned is to Peter.
Yeah.
That's who that is. That's
I know. I
Miles's
figured.
Ned.
It's his computer guy.
Yeah.
The chair guy.
Chair guy.
Yeah, there you go. Chair guy.
His chair guy. Anything you think with this movie we haven't talked about that we need to?
I think we covered a decent amount of it that we needed to.
Because I'm trying to think.
Can't think of
Spider-Man, the villain was good. Eddie Brock was the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
What did you think of female Venom?
Interesting
When
concept.
I did not expect when Venom went into the dog and then the dog looked at her. I was not expecting to get female Venom.
Yeah, no, I wasn't either.
Was not expecting that at all. And then the kiss when she's like, "Oh no, that was just that was him more than me." Oh bullshit! I know how.
Right.
Me as the viewer, I'm like, I know how this symbiote works.
Yeah,
I know how.
You
it
didn't
works.
need to kiss him.
You didn't need to, but you wanted to because inside Venom doesn't act. Venom acts on what's in your head.
Yeah.
He doesn't just think of it on its own. He's in your head and goes off of what you want. Because like when they're in the car, they get that where it's like, you're feeling lonely, sad. If you don't apologize now, this might be the last time you ever see her. And then he apologizes because Venom's kind of like, hey, fucking asshole.
Hey, dumbass.
If you don't apologize now, you might never get the
like,
chance.
hey, these are your feelings.
And I know you love her. So there's that.
He's
too.
basically like a Jiminy Cricket.
It's a good cop, bad cop.
He's a sort of a Jiminy Cricket.
Did we just get a Venom buddy cop movie?
I think we kind of did.
In a sense, we did.
To some degree, except no one's a cop. But yeah.
I also love at the end where it's like, we're only going to kill bad people. Well, how do you tell?
It's a feeling, an inkling.
It's kind of your intuition kind of a thing. And my first thought was, great, use a big word like intuition with a Venom symbiote.
Well,
like
it's not even use the word. It's like, yeah, trust his intuition.
His intuition, where it's basically he picks the guy up, lungs, pancreas, eyes, ears, basically listing off everything, and then drops that guy to chomp the head off of a different guy.
That shot, yeah, a guy shoots him, he just chomps it, swings over and chomps the head off. What I thought was interesting was trust the intuition of a symbiote that says, we need to eat, or your liver's looking pretty good.
Or your liver looks pretty good.
Nice and juicy.
It's like, I'm gonna eat right now. We're gonna eat. We're gonna find something to eat.
Yeah. Why trust the intuition of someone who wants that?
Exactly.
Tater tots and chocolate.
Do you think
syrup.
Do you think that Venom 2 will be just Venom versus Carnage?
They might do that depending on how if they can get Holland or not.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they'll have enough to do Venom versus Carnage, or will it be Venom versus Carnage and then both of them have to like work together to defeat a third villain?
I think they're gonna save the other symbiote for something else, and I think it's gonna be a Venom versus Carnage. Cassidy, like they show kind of how maybe sort of how he got the symbiote, or he already has it there and he's just playing the game because he's a psychopath.
Yeah,
and he's just playing the game because that was funny too. It's like, do you want me to play the psychopath game? Or we just get straight to it.
Yeah,
like that would be nice. Let's just get straight to it.
Here's one last.
But maybe
question,
he already has it, and that's what he did all the murders with, and then he went to jail.
You're talking about he did all the murders with the symbiote and then lost it.
No, maybe he has it now because maybe he wants to play the game. It's
like how he just doesn't break
psychopath.
Out with the symbiote.
Yeah, being that it's a game for some of them, and that's what he seems like. He's like sort of the Hannibal Lecter in a sense.
True, and the Carnage symbiote's kind of like it's the same similar
thing.
personality.
Yeah, it's like, hey, just hold back. We're gonna play this game because he might think it's fun too.
Here's a question I got for you: if we do get Tom Holland, Eddie Brock together, do we ever see Black Suit Superman? Do we ever see Spider-Man with the Venom symbiote?
I want to go no.
Do we ever see Tom Holland with the symbiote?
I want to say no.
I would love it so much. I think it'd be so cool to see Tom Holland trying to act like an asshole. True. It would kind of change his personality because he's not the Venom. Because really, that's another thing they didn't play into it. So that's interesting. They didn't play into it with this one after he learned to control the symbiote. After he learned to control it, in the beginning, it was like he was crazy. Like that scene when he's like, I gotta eat something. Then he jumps into the lobster thing and he's like, ooh, I'm cool. Like that to me was kind of like their version of like in the animated series when Eddie Brock got infused with Venom and then he just becomes a raging asshole to everybody. That to me was kind of like their version. So it's like after you learn to control it, then are you okay with it? So like with Tom Holland, would that just make him an asshole or would it just make him crazy like it did Eddie Brock in this one?
Possibly, I think that would be the case. Or he might have a better control over it because of his
Spidey sense,
the powers and all that stuff. But I don't think it would do it because it'd be weird to try and put it on Spider-Man and like, why did it go back to Eddie Brock when he was looking
because he's not a perfect match with Spider-Man.
Maybe that could be it.
Maybe it's something where he gets detached, finds Spider-Man, latches to him or latches to Peter, which then is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But then it's like, no, you're not a perfect match. Like, I'm not saying fit it in to where we need Black Suit Superman.
Yeah, but
I think it'd be interesting. Yeah, Spider-Man. I think it's because I'm saying Black Suit first.
Yeah.
And I think Black Suit Superman before I think Black Suit Spider-Man, because I think Death of Superman.
Yeah, true.
Any final things we need to talk about with this one before we wrap everything up?
No, I mean, I hope we get another Venom movie because I thought it was overall pretty good.
I think we will. If you look at IMDb, the rotten meter is bad, so critics hated it, audience loved it. Sony's only going to think about what the audience likes. And it's supposed to set records for box office for October, like $80 million. Yeah, $80 million. $80 million in its opening weekend is, I believe, what I saw. But how we end these is we haven't done it in a while, but we will do it now. We do a show stealer, which is MVP giving an MVP for the movie, and then we will wrap everything up with our official rating out of
5 symbiotes.
Symbiotes, I guess.
I think so.
Symbiote containers.
Symbiotes.
No, symbiotes. Or out of pancreases, out of livers.
Symbiotes is fine.
Out of symbiote, whatever, or out of teeth, whatever you want to do it. But who's your show stealer?
I give it to Tom Hardy.
Got to agree. Like, there's no one that
As
like
Eddie Brock or as Venom.
both.
Just messing with you. Yeah, of course.
I think that's why. Like, Johnny's like, of course. Why would I not? The only person I would think to give an honorable mention to is the guy who played Drake.
Yeah, Riz Ahmed.
Riz Ahmed would be
Close second.
the one I would give the honorable mention to. But Tom Hardy, he's the star of this show.
He is. And
Without Tom Hardy in this, it is not the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just how he played Venom, how he plays Eddie Brock, too, which is the most important part. Because if you don't nail Eddie Brock in this one, you don't have a good movie on your hands. How about your rating? What are you giving it?
I'll be honest. It's partially the Marvel fanboy playing into me and finally getting a Venom movie. I was debating between 3.5 or 4. I think I'm going to stick with my 4 out of 5.
I'm going to give it a solid 3.
Okay.
And the reason why is, like you mentioned it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. So it's not a 4, it's not a 1. Or it's not a 5, it's not a 1. But it was good. It was good, not great. Would I go see it again? Maybe not in theaters. I might wait for it to get on HBO, get on a Netflix, get on kind of home movie before I see it again. I was debating with you between a 2 or a 3, but the more I talk about it, think about it, I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
It was solid right down in the middle, where it was like, you know what? It was good. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't a great movie. There were things that could have been improved on it, but they did some things like the Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock thing very, very well with this one, to where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it the number right there in the middle with a 3 instead of going with the 2 that I had already thought about as well. And we haven't done this in a while on a movie review. So I'm going to pull it up. I got to find our spreadsheet here because it has changed quite a bit. I think the next one that we are going to do for sure is going to be, let me see. So we've got Venom here. I'm just going to go down with the rest of the year, and kind of right now on the podcast so they know. Probably won't see Goosebumps 2. Halloween, I might throw one out there, but that might be a Dave and I one because I think you're busy that weekend. I'm going to put a maybe on Halloween, a maybe on Fantastic Beasts. Wreck-It Ralph, I feel like you and I will want to go see.
Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph 2 will be a yes. Creed 2 will be a Dave and I most likely because I don't know if you're going to want to go see Creed 2.
Oh, seeing as I haven't seen Creed.
You can always watch that. Into the Spider-Verse will be a definite yes for us. Aquaman will be a definite yes for us. Bumblebee, I feel like, will be a definite yes. Alita Battle Angel.
Yes.
I can't pass that one up.
No, that one looks really good.
And then we've got Mary Poppins and Uncharted then are the last 2. Uncharted's a PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
But it'll be a nice one to end the year. And Mary Poppins Returns. I think you're not going to let us not see Mary Poppins because you were excited when we got the poster and stuff for it.
I thought it was cool. Mary Poppins, y'all.
It's a Disney movie. So for sure, me and you've got and Nutcracker 2. I don't know if that was one you seemed pretty excited for.
Maybe, yeah.
But Wreck-It
Scheduling,
Ralph,
we'll see.
Spider-Verse, Aquaman, Bumblebee, Alita, Mary Poppins. So 6 for sure for you and I to end the year after it's been quite a while.
A while.
Since we've seen one. Where, Solo was the last one we did. I'm trying to even think. I know we saw Ant-Man, but I know we didn't do a review for it.
True, we didn't.
The main reason we saw Ant-Man because we needed to see it in order to keep track with everything
with
for
Infinity War.
Marvel. So, this was after
post
Infinity
War, but still we need to keep track.
But this is where you guys come in because we talked about Ant-Man, or we kind of did. We talked about an Ant-Man topic. We didn't do an official review.
Yeah.
But we did talk about Ant-Man. This is where you guys come in, though. Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section. What did you think of Venom? What did you like? What did you didn't like? Tell us what you guys think down below in the comment section. Want to thank you guys for checking out our review. Our next one will most likely be Wreck-It Ralph when it comes out November 21st. I want to thank you guys for checking out this movie review. And as always, have a good day, everybody.